So in May of 2018, a man named Jonathan Oddi opened fire at Donald Trump's Miami golf course and was shot and arrested by police. Now, Oddi said that he was in the middle of a bipolar episode. That's where it gets interesting. Later, while being questioned by Florida authorities, Oddi brought up something totally unexpected.
Hello there, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. Week 2 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, starting with multiple witnesses who say they saw Diddy being physically violent toward his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And for the first time, the public can see the stark visual evidence of the violence Cassie testified that she suffered at the hands of Combs.
We're monitoring testimony in the federal courtroom in the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial. No cameras inside of that courtroom, but on the stand this afternoon is Kerry Morgan, a former best friend of Cassie Ventura, who testified all last week. Morgan says she saw Combs assault Cassie Ventura several times, and someone who's been keeping us updated there on the ground is our Court TV legal correspondent, Kelly Craft. Kelly, so glad to have you, especially since we can't see what's going on inside. But what is the latest with Kerry Morgan testifying?
The trial of Sean P. Diddy Combs has shaken the entertainment world. The accusations leveled against him are some of the most serious in recent celebrity history, including charges of sex trafficking, coercion, and physical abuse. Over weeks, explosive testimonies have painted a complex picture of a relationship that's both intimate and deeply troubled. Tonight, we dive deep into the key moments of the trial. Shocking allegations from accusers, the intense cross-examinations, and the fierce pushback from Diddy's defense team. We'll hear from voices who both support and oppose Diddy, revealing the tensions and drama behind closed courtroom doors. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a clash of narratives that could change lives and reputations forever. From secret love messages to allegations of violence, hush money to court drama, this video breaks down the biggest takeaways so far, all while the jury watches, weighs, and decides the fate of one of hip-hop's biggest names. Stay tuned as we reveal the truth that's emerging from this high-profile trial. Jonathan Audi, a man currently incarcerated in Florida, made shocking claims in a jailhouse interview. He alleges being held as a slave to Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura, describing drug-fueled sessions and a secret video recording that captured these encounters. Audi states he was coerced into participating in these acts and later compensated with hush money, a purported $5 million payout to silence him. This jaw-dropping testimony adds a dangerous new element to the trial, suggesting a hidden world of control and exploitation behind Diddy's public persona. His allegations have not been independently verified, but have caused a stir in the legal and entertainment communities, raising serious questions about the scope of the accusations. While Audi's claims are incendiary, Diddy's defense counters strongly with evidence that paints a very different picture. Hundreds of texts and emails from the early years of Diddy and Cassie's relationship have been entered as exhibits. These messages reveal frequent exchanges of love, affection, and intimate planning, including what they called freak-offs, consensual, if intense, drug-fueled sexual encounters. In court, the defense argued these communications show Cassie was often a willing participant, sometimes even initiating these moments, contradicting claims of coercion. The defense highlights messages such as, "I love you so much it makes me cry," and "When do you want to freak off?" to suggest mutual desire and affection. They present this as a complex relationship where consent and agency existed, trying to dismantle the prosecution's portrayal of abuse. This segment of the trial challenges the jury to look beyond surface allegations and examine the evidence in context, questioning whether this relationship was as manipulative and violent as alleged, or simply a complicated love affair with its highs and lows.
So in May of 2018, a man named Jonathan Oddi opened fire at Donald Trump's Miami golf course and was shot and arrested by police. Now, Oddi said that he was in the middle of a bipolar episode. That's where it gets interesting. Later, while being questioned by Florida authorities, Oddi brought up something totally unexpected. He claimed that he'd been a sex slave for Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura. This video is courtesy of Real World Media. Take a look.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave.
So at the time, Oddi's story seemed too far-fetched to believe, but not anymore. And now, in an exclusive interview, Oddi opens up to News Nation senior producer Allison Weiner about his claims, beginning with why he's agreed to talk now. Listen to this.
I felt bad because I got along well with her, and I think she's a decent person. And unfortunately, I had a suspicion that she was in a situation that she was in, but I wasn't sure. And now I understand what was going on in my life and what was happening. And him beating her up in the hotel shows me the type of individual he is, and confirms that everything that happened to me was true and correct and in line with his personality.
So he's speaking to us from a Miami jail now. Here is how Oddi says it all began for him.
I was a male Chippendale, a model Chippendale, you could say. And they called me to a show they called the agency that I work for to do a show. And then I went and did a show, and things led to them offering me more money to perform sexual acts. And that's it. That's how I basically got started. I get dressed like a police officer, like a show, and they'll strip me down. And then, they offer me some more money. They offer me some more money to do some extra stuff.
Cassie Ventura takes the stand with a composed and steady demeanor, despite the pressure of aggressive cross-examination. The defense repeatedly probes her with graphic texts and messages, pushing her on her role in freak-offs, jealousy, and other intimate details of the relationship. She answers carefully, sometimes appearing uncomfortable, but remains calm and consistent throughout. The jury is seen closely examining each piece of evidence, some shifting between watching Cassie and the defense attorney questioning her. This segment is crucial. Cassie is the star witness, and the jury's perception of her credibility could make or break the case.
The fourth day of testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering trial turned explosive as his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, faced quite aggressive cross-examination about her tumultuous 11-year relationship with Combs. The defense pushed back hard on Ventura's allegations that she was coerced and abused by the fallen mogul, showing jurors old text messages and emails where the two appeared to exchange loving words, even some pretty explicit plans for their so-called freak-offs, raises the question of consent or not. So to give us that up-close and personal account of every single gripping moment that happened inside that courtroom, we're going to bring back on Law and Crimes reporter Elizabeth Milner, who is in that courtroom once again. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on. So set the scene for us. What was the atmosphere in that courtroom like today? Was it tense when we're talking about cross-examination? Did it feel different than direct examination?
Yeah, for the most part, this was a day that a lot of us were anticipating. A lot of us were wondering, what is the defense going to have when it comes to this cross-examination? You know, the last couple of days while Cassie's been under direct examination, to me at least, just kind of watching her tone, watching how she answers these questions, she really kind of seemed very compelling. She felt like a compelling witness. So obviously, the defense's job is going to be to poke holes in this. Did you want to participate in these freak-offs? Did you have a way of helping set these up? Did you initiate wanting these freak-offs in some instances when Diddy was sick, or other instances as well too? And so today was definitely a very highly anticipated day. As far as the tone just in the courtroom, I think a lot of people were just kind of wanting to know what was going to happen next. So as far as just who was inside that courtroom today, it looked a little different than it has, on day one and even a little bit into day two.
Kerry Morgan, once a close friend to Cassie Ventura, gives chilling testimony about witnessing abuse and her own violent encounters with Diddy. She recounts a terrifying incident where Diddy allegedly choked her and hit her with a wooden hanger during a fit of rage. Morgan's testimony is backed by claims that she was paid $30,000 and asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which many see as an attempt to silence victims and witnesses. This testimony paints a starkly different portrait of Diddy, not as a loving partner, but as a violent and controlling figure willing to intimidate and hurt those around him.
We're monitoring testimony in the federal courtroom in the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial. No cameras inside of that courtroom, but on the stand this afternoon is Kerry Morgan, a former best friend of Cassie Ventura, who testified all last week. Morgan says she saw Combs assault Cassie Ventura several times, and someone who's been keeping us updated there on the ground is our Court TV legal correspondent, Kelly Craft. Kelly, so glad to have you, especially since we can't see what's going on inside. But what is the latest with Kerry Morgan testifying?
Well, hi there, Julia and Ted. So everyone's just making their way back inside the New York City courthouse after a very short lunch break. So people are just making their way in. As soon as court resumes, the direct examination of Kerry Morgan will continue. Kerry Morgan, the former friend of Cassie Ventura, who said that once Sean Diddy Combs assaulted her, their friendship stopped. So what did she say about that particular assault? She said that she was at her house, that Combs had come over demanding that she tell him who Cassie was cheating on him with. He became angry, grabbed her around the neck, and then ended up hitting her with a wooden hanger. Shortly after that, this was about a month after that, her and Cassie met up at a pizzeria. And Cassie, according to her testimony, told her that you're overblowing this, because she now had hired an attorney. Kerry Morgan had hired an attorney. Cassie said, you're exaggerating this. She then had her friend sign a non-disclosure agreement and said Sean Combs will be giving you $30,000. So that's some of the testimony that was taking place before the lunch break took place. Now we're making our way back in. We do have some other testimony we can put up for you on the screen. So we're bringing it to you in full screen form because, of course, no cameras are in the courtroom. But she did testify that she had encouraged Ventura to call police. This was after that 2016 hotel altercation at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. After the assault, Combs arrived at Ventura's apartment yelling and banging on the door with a hammer.
As these allegations come to light, Diddy's family has been a visible presence in the courtroom. His mother, Janice Combs, and his sons Christian, Quincy, and Justin have shown unwavering support, emphasizing the personal stakes of the trial. The defense continues to focus on disproving the prosecution's narrative by highlighting the complexities of Diddy and Cassie's relationship. They stress that many allegations stem from jealousy, financial motivations, and attempts to tarnish Diddy's legacy. The defense portrays him as a cultural icon, deeply loved and respected, whose personal flaws do not amount to criminal conduct. They also question the timing and credibility of witnesses who are alleged to have financial incentives or personal grudges. This part of the case is about challenging the prosecution's witnesses and asserting reasonable doubt.
And so Oddi claimed that the sessions were drug-fueled and that his concern for both Cassie and himself led him to get one of their sessions on video. Listen to what he says about that.
Why did you decide to record or video?
Because after she passed out, I decided to record that. So in the event anything worse happened, like if she died, or anybody died, it will be on camera, it will be on video, what happened. So I wouldn't be responsible for any of that.
So you were beginning to worry about her doing drugs. I mean, like about her dying, or him dying, or somebody dying from the drugs, and that you would be held responsible. So you brought a video. You brought your phone?
No, I had a USB video memory stick done like spy shot, and I put it in the water on the table, in the living room table of the hotel I was staying at. I just filmed it, and it had everything I described, and it had her threatening me. but he was telling her what to say. We had an argument. When I left, I knew they were paranoid. So I wanted to guarantee my safety. So I texted him. I said, "Hey, if anything happens to me, I got evidence I'm being with you." At the settlement table, there was a lot of irregularities. Okay, It was my first settlement. So they brought me in, and Diddy had a T-shirt with two men in ski masks pointing, making gun signs. Okay, and it was black and white, and it had a red frame. Okay, but that's the way he operates. He communicates, threatening you, like saying, "I'm gonna have you killed."
So Oddi says to prevent the recording from going public, that's what he was just talking about, Diddy had him sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, in exchange for $5 million in hush money. This was in 2014. The Daily Mail ran a screenshot of what appears to be a signature page signed by Sean Combs and Oddi. We have not been able to obtain the document or verify its contents or authenticity, nor have we been able to verify the existence of the video that you heard him talking about. Now, according to Daily Mail's report, the timing coincided with a spending spree by Oddi of Florida real estate, and it also coincided with Oddi's divorce. His ex-wife tells the Daily Mail that she found out about his windfall only after their split.
This courtroom saga continues to grip audiences worldwide. We'll be here bringing every update, every shocking revelation, and every moment that could decide the fate of one of hip-hop's biggest icons. Subscribe and stay tuned for the next chapters in the P. Diddy trial.